Do you ever feel like no matter how hard you try and find your own lane, nothing ever really clicks? And a lot of people struggle with this because they're in a world where people are trying to show them the blueprint, show them what they should do, how they should be, how they should act, what to say, what not to say. And the problem is that when you're following somebody else's blueprint sometimes, you almost lose sense of your own authenticity and you get lost in the sauce. And that's where a lot of people tend to fall off and stop being consistent because it doesn't come natural. Now, before I continue any further, for those who don't know me, my name is Buki Sosa, and I created Shh and Listen to turn life's messy into moments of clarity. Back to the video. When people are trying to find their lane in life or in their career, a lot of times they're doing a lot of trial and error. And rightfully so. You gotta try something to see if it works for you. Now, some people try once or twice and they get it right. And some people try 20 times, fail before they get something right. And some people are forever trying and nothing ever seems to click. And at the end of the day, people wanna feel fulfilled in whatever you do. Because when you feel fulfilled and you're generally doing something that's helping and serving others, it helps you to keep going. But a lot of the times, what people are doing, whether in their business or work or their job or whatever it may be, it's draining, or it doesn't light them up, or there's no sense of calling towards it. Call it what you may. And as I mentioned earlier, people will forever keep finding and never end up building something. Now, the thing is that if you don't actually try and get in the weeds of things, then you're not gonna know what works and what doesn't work. I know a lot of people that would go to somewhere across the world to try and find themselves, and they end up isolating themselves away from people. And oftentimes that's actually counterintuitive because the best way to find yourself, your calling, or how you can contribute to society, it's always connecting with people because they can say and spot certain things that you may not be able to see. And that's gonna help guide you to the right lane that will lead to success. And a lot of that inconsistency of trying something maybe a month or two and not following through it to the end is people are also used to instant gratification. We live in a very microwave society where you go on TikTok, you easily get entertained. Everything is just so fast moving. And that translates to what we do in work or in a career or business or whatever. You expect it to go so fast, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it's a process. And the process is okay, but you have to be consistent in that process. And because there's so many choices, people get analysis paralysis, where you have option A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but you don't know how to stick to one. Because there's so many options, it's so easy to try something after the next and be in this constant loop, but never really being able to dominate a specific lane that you're in because you're trying to fulfill all lanes. And a lot of times too, having a blueprint is nice because it shows you a layout, a nice structure, just something to kind of study and nibble on. But for it to really feel like oxygen, like feel natural to you, you have to also not being afraid to sort of add your own sauce, your own uniqueness to that. Because if you follow the blueprint step by step, it's almost as if like you become a carbon copy of everything else. I need a drink. 1 second. I lost my train of thought. To build a lane that feels like oxygen, it comes from a place of frustration and you just being fed up with everything, and you just say, fuck it, let me just do something completely out of the box, even though it may have not been done before, or maybe a little bit, maybe there was a blueprint like that, but you're doing it slightly different. And it's almost like you're walking in faith because you're trusting your intuition, your own vision, strategy you have in place, and not being afraid to pivot along the way. And sometimes that can be a little scary, especially when you have naysayers or people that just don't get it. But you almost have to not be afraid to trust that gut instinct you have and let it lead to the right lane. Because the thing is, when you have the right mindset and you're determined and you have a destination in line and you hold that state of mind, it automatically translates to the right actions. So those right actions will then lead to you walking in that lane and being able to dominate it. And when somebody starts creating something from authenticity, you feel the energy, you feel the spark, you feel the tribe, like so infectious. And that's how people are able to build brands and businesses, or promoted at a job or whatever it may be, because they found their lane and they stuck with it and they dominated that lane. Now you're probably wondering, well, how the hell do you find your own lane? And the best way you can go about it, and sort of how I went about it, is I did two things. I looked at how I can best, you got to look at how you can best serve people. What is a problem that people are having? Then you look at the skill sets that you yourself have. What are you good at? What comes natural to you? How can you meet the needs of those two people and of those people and plug it together? And sometimes it may involve you stepping outside your comfort zone, creating a product or creating a service or creating content, whatever it may be. But your priority and your goal is to serve the needs of others, obsess about their problems, serve those needs, and doing it in a way that is also authentic to you. Because when it's authentic to you and it comes natural and there's genuine interest and you have the drive and the energy for it, that's what's going to help with sustainable long-term growth. You don't want to start something where you're passionate about it for like 1 or 2 months and then you drop off. You want it to age well. You want it to be sustainable. Sustainable is the key. Because when something is sustainable, it's easier to be consistent with it. And when you're walking into a lane that's yours, that's not borrowed, that you built, the feeling of it is very fulfilling and it keeps you going. There's no better feeling. Until next time.